the key to unlock this device is in a beaker of acid, and when she has to put her hand in, and her hand just turns to mush, and it might be the most disgusting thing in the movie so far.
Yeah, that was pretty fucking... You ever been burned by acid, Vic?
I have not. I've done acid, but I didn't get burned by it.
I've been burned by acid.
I've been burned by battery acid. It sucks.
Yeah, I got burnt by hydrochloric acid. That shit sucked too.
Oh, fuck that, man. What are you trying to do? Dissolve bodies or something? Can't trust you, David. It's always the quiet one.
Thanks. Yeah, just because I worked in a funeral home doesn't mean that, I had to get involved in any other shit like that. No, I was working at a job. I did, yeah. I worked in the funeral business for 9 years, yeah.
Did you ever have sex in a casket?
So wait,
hold on. Why is everybody laughing? That was a serious question, because I would have, a Night of the Demons.
I didn't even hear your question.
I wanted to know if you had sex in a casket.
No.
What was the point of working in a funeral home then?
A career, I thought at the time, but I guess
I would have had a career of having sex in a casket.
I mean, don't get me wrong, the idea presented itself, but with a live person. But
I didn't mean with a dead person. Jesus Christ.
With you sometimes I don't know. So
yeah, that's a good point.
Let me clarify that. But yeah.
Hey, David.
It was actually.
Let me ask you a question. What's the difference between jam and jelly?
God, what?
You can't jelly your dick into a dead girl's ass. That was listed straight from Halloween 2.
Oh, that's so bad. I have another one, but I don't know if I should say it on there. But anyway, my original point I was saying, I was working at a job that worked with hydrochloric acid in. We had to do something with dissolving animal marrow or some bullshit, and then the idiot supervisor told me to just use regular rubber gloves, not these extra protective gloves. And then all of a sudden it was, we had an error, and some asshole didn't have the caps of the hydrochloric acid on right, and I burnt both my hands. I walked around my house for 3 days looking like I'm about to participate in a boxing match. It was not fun.
It was a wardrobe malfunction.
Pretty much.
Nice. All right. Continue, Vic. We went way off.
All y'all doing is let me drink more, and I don't like it. I don't appreciate it. But anyway,
good thing.
So probably the acid hands. But anyway, so she retrieves the key, and it still rips her rib cage apart. So once again, we're going against everything Jigsaw stands for. He's playing the game, but he's changing the rules. So
what an asshole.
Yeah. So Jeff, who is played by Angus McFagin or something. Angus McFagin. A man who seeks vengeance for the death of his son. And Lynn Denman, a depressed doctor, also kidnapped under John Kramer's orders, who is obviously Tobin Bell. Lynn is brought before John, be ridden from his cancer by his apprentice Amanda, who is obviously Johnny Smith. She is given a straightforward game: keep John alive for the duration of Jeff's game. That sounds pretty simple, right?
Yeah.
Should John die or should she try to escape, the collar around her neck will fire 5 shotgun shells into her head. Yeah, I mean, that's more like it. Meanwhile, Jeff awakens in the middle of an abandoned meat packing plant. If my phone cuts off, you got to do that.
Fuck this guy. I hate Jeff. He's a bum.
Oh, yeah, he is. He sucks. He awakens an abandoned meatpacking plant, probably fudge packing with him, and informed that he must go through several tests which will lead him to the man responsible for the loss of his child. So let the game begin. In his first test, Jeff enters a freezer, which also sucks because it's cold. It looks horrible.
But we got
he finds a woman named Danica Scott, who was played by Deborah Lynn McCabe, and I'm in love with her.
You're in love with her frozen titties.
Yeah. The only other witness to a drunk driving accident is the killer of his son, Dylan. By refusing to testify in court, she became an object in Jeff's vengeance. Danica is stripped naked and chained between two poles, just like every naked woman should do. What?
Naked.
Yeah. Hey, hold on. Okay.
All right, so this chick's stripped naked, right? And she's in this, like, it's in a walk-in cooler, basically. And throughout this whole thing, you find out that she's actually, she was the only other witness to the drunk driving accident that killed his son, Dylan. And, she refused to testify in court. And so, Jeff pretty much was like, fuck her, I'm going to kill her. And along with everybody else who's, caused me so much pain and suffering. Well, like I said, like Vic said, she was stripped naked, and she's chained between these two poles that are spraying ice-cold water on her at random intervals. And she eventually, I guess she makes Jeff feel bad, and he decides he's going to try to help her. And he's trying to get this key to get her out, but, he takes too fucking long, and she freezes solid before he can retrieve the key from behind the frozen metal bars. And Jeff gets his face all fucked up when he's trying to get this key. And this chick dies. It's not one of those deaths that's bloody or, anything's breaking, but the idea of just freezing to death the way she does, it's pretty fucked up. But you got to think at some point she probably lost feeling, so it's kind of like the dude burning alive. Fuck that, though, is all I'm saying. It looked like it sucked. You know what's funny about this scene, David?
We're still talking about the naked chick, right?
Yeah, the chick freezing. It was actually really fucking hot in that room, not cold. So everybody was like roasting in this room, but she was like, she was not. So they had to make it look like that everybody was cold, but it was the opposite.
So, my biggest fear in life is drowning. I'd imagine dying the way that she dies in that scene in the movie. You're basically still suffocating your lungs anyway, so I could imagine, anything to deal with lung suffocation. It bothers me. But, just to watch that whole thing, like, I don't know. Like I told you, the one of the sickest, the most gruesome death in any Saw comes in a later Saw, which you guys will talk about eventually. But the other one was when the girl goes through the needles. But this one probably was one. This one probably was one of those that just like made me question life. It's just like, what the fuck? Like really? And I know it's a movie and everything, but man, it really like that kill depressed me.
Yeah, it was fucked up. Victor, you back? Nope. All right, so we go to the next test for Jeff here. He actually has to go to this guy, Judge Halden, who's at the bottom of this. Yes.
Oh,
I don't know what to think about this. It's gross, yeah. This guy's. I thought he was going to like have saws coming at him, but that's not really how this one worked. He's laying at the bottom of this pit that's being filled with liquefied pig corpses. So it's like really nasty, but not so much like painful, although drowning is fucking horrible. I'm not disagreeing with that, David. It's just, I don't know. It doesn't run with some of the things that they've been doing before. They've been wanting blood and broken bones, and this one's just a little different. So this is the same guy who had sentenced Dylan's killer, the little kid's killer, to 6 months in prison, which basically has pissed off Jeff now. And I'll get into one last thing, and I'll let Vic talk. But so in order to save this guy, Jeff has to incinerate his son's toys to get a key, which he does. He saves the judge here, which, it's showing that Jeff is having remorse for his actions, which is what Jigsaw's looking for, or not remorse for his actions, but he's willing to forgive, and that's what Jigsaw's looking for here. Jigsaw's such a Christian.
Hey, Travis, something.
All right, so we have now saved the frozen chick died. The judge has been saved, and now you're on to the third test.
Well, before not to cut you off, Vic,
yeah.
but with this judge, now let me ask you something, Travis, since you're a dad. You look at this, and all the shit that the guy's going through, like through these tests and everything, so much too. Does it change your perspective on how movies like this are portrayed, or like how certain situations are? Because it's like, oh, this happened to me, like no holds barred, gloves are off, like that's it, motherfuckers are gonna die, anything like that. Like, does it change your perspective on looking at things then versus now?
It's a really weird thing because I can understand Jeff being pissed off the way he is, but at the same time, he has another kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I didn't have any other kids and something like that happened to my kid, I could understand being like Jeff. But Jeff had something to live for. He has another kid. And so to me, it just makes me dislike him because he's completely neglecting one kid and his marriage, which isn't all his fault. We'll get into that later, because of the fact that he's so vengeful. And if it were me and I was vengeful like that, I'd probably focus on one person, not 3 or 4 or whatever it is. So I don't know, man. Like, if somebody, like, killed my kid or raped my kid or did something horrible to my kid, absolutely, the person responsible would be fucked. But if I had other kids to live for, then I might have to rethink my actions there. And that's where Jeff and I don't really see eye to eye, you know?
Mm-hmm. Okay, my apologies. I just wanted to kind of add a different element into this because, again, everybody's got their own life that they
and
have.
He's really my biggest issue with this whole movie. He's so fucking one-dimensional, and I think that's the issue with what's going on here. And we'll get into that in a bit, and I'll talk more about him. So it's hard to identify with him like what you're talking about. I could if it were somebody else that I actually had any kind of feeling towards. But go ahead, Vic.
All right, so the third test, Jeff comes face-to-face with Timothy Young, who was the guy that killed his son. And he is, like, strapped to this machine that's going to, like, twist all of his limbs and his neck one by one until
This is brutal, too. I have a hard time watching this one, too. It's fucking
everything
nasty.
in this movie is brutal, man. This movie was brutal.
What did you think of the okay, so you didn't get into it because you were away for a second, but the girl getting frozen and the pig thing. Like, I thought, okay, the girl getting frozen is kind of fucked up, but the pig thing,
Sorry, what did you say? My phone cut out.
I said the girl getting frozen was kind of fucked up, but the pig thing didn't really affect me at all. I just thought it was gross. Not in a way that was like the others.
Yeah. I mean, it was what it was. It wasn't nothing crazy. Like, I liked the frozen thing. I didn't really care for the pig, whatever. It was whatever to me.
Yeah, when you see all these saws come out, you think somebody's about to get their asses fucking chopped up, but instead they're just. I mean, it was unique in its own way, but it was almost like almost like in wrestling when somebody sets up a table but never goes through it.
Yeah, pretty much. That's a good.
That's a very
analogy.
And a very
that's how I felt with
that.
Yeah, that was my feeling on it. It could have been great. I mean, they could have used the pig thing in a different way if they were going to do it. You can't break out saws and then not give it to us.
Yep.
So continue. All right, so we're on third guy who's fucking. This guy's like crucified too. It's fucked.
So Jeffrey retrieves the key that's attached to the trigger of a shotgun, but Alden is killed when the shotgun is accidentally discharged. Jeff is too late to save Timothy before his neck is fatally broken. So, oh shit, lost my thing. But anyway, so he was too late to save him, and